Hey, how's it going there, folks? Welcome back here to a Tuesday. It is the Earthmaster here. About 12:14 p.m. California time here, April 16th, 2024. By the way, stream is down. I'm about ready to bring it right back up. It looks like it went down suspiciously around 3:30 in the morning here, local time. Latest activity here shows some movement kicking up into the Southern California region, with a little bit of swarming occurring out here around the Coso Junction region. This, of course, a lot of old volcanic activity here north of Ridgecrest by about 30 miles or so. This is the area that's seen that sequence of earthquakes out here in 2019 here. 6-pointer, and then a day later, the 7-pointer kicked up out here. Quite the shaker. That was off of the airport lake fault, I believe. But this activity stirring up here underneath this mountainous region in the Coso volcanic range. Looks like the depth of these earthquakes there, anywhere from 3 kilometers down to about 7 or 8 kilometers. So we got a total so far of about 28 earthquakes here in this little region. Again, these are all out here in some older volcanic fields. The largest one so far appears to be, looks like an upper 3.9, or yeah, 3.9 right here is the latest one, but look at all the 3s kicking up in here as well. Quite a few lower 3-pointers and quite a few 2s as well. I really haven't seen any main quake out here. It all kind of started off this morning with a 0.9. It's not like we've seen a 4-pointer followed up by many aftershocks. This is just a series of light earthquakes out here. We haven't really seen a main one yet. So we'll continue to watch this area. Could be a sign of potentially something larger about ready to take place here in the area of Southern California. This is not the only region here that's lighting up. We got some other earthquake activity out here as well, basically within this region here. And that, of course, includes the southern branch of the San Andreas Fault. So we continue to watch that. It's pretty serious potential down here. It's got a potential to produce an 8.1 magnitude earthquake. That's, that's not fear-mongering. That is just the facts out here. And it's been locked and loaded there for over 300 years. We'll keep an eye on that. I do have one seismograph station down there right here called Barrett. It looks like that is picking up some of the activity. That's going to be the very small spiky activity there on the graph. But for now, no major movement, but just a heads up. Northern California, fairly quiet. The Pacific Northwest, a handful of earthquakes there around Mount St. Helens once again. Most of those are from yesterday. If we look at the states out here, typical movement in Texas around the oil fields and out here against the Great Smoky Mountain Range here, 2.0. Early this morning, it looks like about 2 or 3 o'clock my time. Up in New Jersey, looks like the majority of this activity from yesterday. We did see one more 1-pointer this morning. Still looking at some aftershock activity here following that earthquake activity a few days ago. Has it been over a week? It has. So let's bring up the last 30 days of all magnitudes. And goodness, we're coming up close to 100 earthquakes here in total, following that 4.8 that struck here back on the 5th of April. So aftershock sequences there continuing even to this day. A look at the broader view out here does show some movement out across the western areas of the Pacific Plate, including a 4.8 just off the North Island area, west-northwest of Hicks Bay, New Zealand. This is about 60 kilometers deep here into the Hikurangi subduction zone. Of course, this area has been seeing quite a bit of deep activity here recently. Looks like there's some further 3s taking place here along the plate boundary. Got to keep an eye on New Zealand. This is one of the areas here that is definitely overdue in terms of larger scale potential. We've seen a lot of activity and movement and adjustment all across the plate boundary here, except for within this bend region, where we're seeing a lot of deeper activity take place, and now a more recent 4.8 earthquake coming in within the last hour. So we'll continue to watch that. Let me bring up the GeoNet servers here real quick and see what we got for earthquake activity in New Zealand. There it is. GeoNet saying it's a 4.7, roughly the same region. This one a little bit more shallower, about 25 kilometers deep there. But I guarantee you that earthquake showed up quite nicely on these earthquake drums, earthquake seismograph stations here. That's going to be that 4.8, 4.7 there on the graph. And if we go down here across South Island stations here, we're seeing some of that other 3 activity and a couple other smaller quakes down there off the plate boundary of South Island, New Zealand. We'll continue to watch that. Again, this area needs to adjust here. I feel it's only a matter of time. Further to the north and west, got a newer earthquake up here off the coast of Japan. 4.6 coming in. 56 kilometers deep here. This area definitely seen some activity as well in the last few days. One lonesome earthquake. That's about the only one up there for now. Some older movement way up here off the Aleutian Trench, right across this bend area where the plate tends to make a sharp adjustment. A couple 4s there from earlier this morning and last night. Across the Philippines area, getting a handful of swarming again, a little bit of crunching, so to speak, in the plate boundary. This area, of course, is a major zone for seismic activity. You got all the plates pointing in this general direction. The arrows from the Pacific plate, the arrows from the Eurasia plate, arrows from the North American plate, and of course, arrows from the Australia plate. And all this region here, I like to call the crunch zone. That's where everything tends to come together, compact, and subduct, and create a whole bunch of earthquake activity on any given day. Very seismically active region. In fact, one of the most seismically active regions in the world. Across the Mediterranean here today, a couple smaller quakes. Really nothing major going on there for now. And the Atlantic Ocean, pretty quiet. All right, let's check out space weather activity, see what's going on here. We're going to check out the next 5 asteroid approaches here. This is for today's time frame. Really not seeing anything of concern. If you look here, these numbers indicate when the asteroid was discovered. The majority of these asteroids are very new, just being discovered this year, if not days, within the past few days. But the closest one looks to be this one coming at about 290,000 miles from Earth. It's a 59-foot asteroid, roughly about the size of a small house here. So, but that's a safe distance. If it was anything underneath 100,000, and then we'd be looking at it a little bit more in detail in terms of the orbital position here. But I think we're pretty safe with this asteroid and the next 5 ones. Space weather activity, well, getting a little busy out here. Got a couple massive sunspot regions out here. Let's check these out today in the magnetogram image. This image right here will show the complexity that the magnetic complexity that these sunspots may harbor. This is a massive region. This used to be 3615 when it was the last time it was out here facing the Earth. It's already made one trip around the far side and back here again. It's really disorganized with a couple different individual sunspots in there, but that is a huge sunspot. If this thing continues to grow and get more complex, that could get interesting. But for now, not a huge flare threat from this area, but we'll continue to watch that. The main region right now, I think, that's showing some growth is this area up here on the northeastern quadrant of the sun. We do have some further sunspots out on the eastern limb that are gaining view here across the Earth-facing side, and also one region up here on the northwestern limb of the sun that looks like it's grown a little bit. Overall threat right now for the flaring activity is somewhat elevated, about 99% chance for a C flare, M flare at 60, X flare around 5% chance or so, and there's our M flare activity in the last couple days there. We did see the auroras kick up here. Bad time here for the North American folks, but across Europe and Asia area, these guys could be getting a little bit of aurora view in their nighttime hours, which it is right now. Not a huge elevated aurora event, but we did see some activity stir up around the KP index of 4. All right, look at that. The Storm Prediction Center here today shows some severe weather. I know they had severe weather all night over there. That continues into the day today with an enhanced region for severe weather with a decent 10% chance of tornado probability there in the hatch zone. That's a dashed area. Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Davenport, a lot of Iowa covered out here, including Missouri, it looks like. So heads up if you're out there today looks to be tornado potential and hail threat as the main severe weather hazards today in this region. I look at the numerical models here for long-term, term. There's that system that's we're dealing with today out here in this region. That's going to scoot off to the northeast. As we put this into motion, there's a series of storms out here that are going to impact the region. There was some colder air, it looks like. It's hard to say how far this is going to dip down as far as those blue lines of colder air. But when that happens, we do see some severe weather pop up with that interaction. We'll have to watch that. This here is Wednesday into Thursday morning. Looks like some severe weather potential of next week. So yeah, again, a ways into the future here. Does show some unsettled conditions out here across the lower 48. All right, we'll continue to watch some activity out here in Southern California. Again, there's a decent swarm of quakes out here in this area, and these are, not big ones, but there's a multitude of earthquakes that are taking place out here. North of Little Lake, north of the Ridgecrest area, out in the old volcanic areas. As you can see, there's a lot of volcanic little domes and features out here. Almost looks like we're looking at the planet Mars, but there's definitely some old features out there of past volcanic activity, and this swarm is occurring underneath this area, about 7 to 9 kilometers or so. We'll continue to watch it and report back on anything that takes place. Again, I do have a seismograph station down there in Southern California called Barrett. All right, I'm going to get the live stream set up here because it did go down. We'll catch you guys back out here at about 3 o'clock afternoon time for the member drawing. I have not forgot about that. We just got super busy there yesterday. Didn't get a chance to get it. If you're not on board, jump on board to become a member today, and you will be entered into that member drawing that is being held today at 3 o'clock California time. We'll catch you guys back here a little bit later. Stay safe.